Welcome to Design Downtime, the podcast where we celebrate the joys of living a balanced creative life. I'm your host, Guy Siegel, a design director in Toronto, Canada, and I invite you to join me on this journey as we redefine what it means to be a successful design professional. Let's break free from the shackles of hustle culture and embrace the full spectrum of human experience, because life is too precious to be spent only in pursuit of productivity. Today, I'm delighted to be talking with Shelby Corbella. Shelby is a senior product designer at Turo, specializing in design systems and diving into the emerging field of designing for AI. Her work balances functionality with innovation, aiming to elevate digital experiences while setting high standards for design consistency. Currently based in Colorado, Shelby spends her free time exploring scenic hiking trails before the chill of winter arrives. When not immersed in the great outdoors, she's dedicated to achieving a perfect score on Astro Bot and is in the early stages of launching an escape room-themed blog and podcast, merging her love for puzzles with storytelling. Shelby, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Guy.
It's a pleasure. And today you want to talk to us about escape rooms.
Of course, all day, every day, everything about escape rooms.
I am so excited because I love escape rooms. I love puzzles. And I cannot wait to get into this. So the first question is always the origin story. How did you get into escape rooms?
Oh, funny story. I'm a little bit of a social butterfly, and I've always taken the role at work to be the person that gets people together for, what's the word I'm looking for, like team outings and groupings. So I was assigned that task for my really, really small design systems team at a startup called Gladly. In San Francisco when I used to live there. And I was thinking, all right, what's around us where we can just walk to very easily? And funny enough, a new escape room called the Escape Games opened up in the same building as us. It's like, I've tried to do an escape room before. It wasn't that great, but let's see what this place is all about. If you want to talk about great design, the Escape Games has great design on their website, and they actually give you 3D renderings of their rooms. So I'm not giving too much away, but at least giving you a lay of the land. And what I loved was how immersive it looked and it felt. So if you were going to, let's say, do a Grand Bazaar market, they had the look and feel of it, look exactly like the Grand Market. So I thought, let's try this out and let's see. We got there and it was great customer service, first and foremost, which is really important to me. But as soon as we walked into that room, which we actually did was a Grand Bazaar, the sounds made you feel like I thought I was back in Turkey when I visited years ago. They even had the smells of spices that made you feel like you were in a bazaar and just the textures of everything. So it really just took you out of your day to day. I don't know how you feel, but I always need a good break from work, and the only way I could really do that is if I'm immersed in something. And escape rooms are such a great hour escape from the world, whether you're having a bad day or good day or needing to bond with your coworkers or meeting a bunch of new strangers like I did when I moved to Colorado. I started an escape room group, and that's what got us to all bond together was why not put a bunch of strangers in a room for 60 minutes and hopefully not murder each other.
So you mentioned the escape aspect, which is less about, I'm talking about the escape aspect of escape rooms, which is just escaping from your current situation, environment, reality. Are escape rooms fulfilling a different need for you than, let's say, books or movies, which are also an immersive experience of their own?
Yeah, it takes me a while to get immersed in something, whether it's a book or even sometimes a video game. It takes a while, and I think it's just because you're sitting and you're not really moving around. You're just trying to get your mind into it. Whereas escape rooms really force your body and your mind to get into something, whether it's moving around in a room or really just engaging in puzzles at different aspects of time too. So like books, for example, I think are like a pretty easy puzzle to break, if that makes sense. All you're doing is reading words on a page and entering into a world. Whereas with escape rooms, it's more of okay, I have to do math sometimes to figure out a puzzle. That is flexing one part of my brain. Sometimes I need to be more tactile and moving, a Rubik's Cube-like puzzle around more. And that's kind of triggering another part of my brain. Sometimes I need to communicate with folks who have not done an escape room before, and I have to teach them or walk them through it. So there's all these different levels or different things that are triggering in my brain, whether it's communication, problem solving, math skills. It just really is triggering a bunch of different things in my brain. And as somebody who has ADHD, that's a big thing. I can't focus on one topic or one subject for too long or I get bored. Whereas escape rooms really help. I don't know, make me feel better about having ADHD, since a lot of things in life kind of make you feel bad for having ADHD, where it's like you get in trouble if you don't pay attention long enough or pay attention to enough of the details. Whereas escape rooms, it's kind of like, just go in, be you, and, work as a team as well together. That's a really big thing that I love about escape rooms.
So do escape rooms continue a tradition of puzzle solving for you?
Yes, hugely. And what's interesting, Guy, that now you're mentioning it, is my friends always ask me, you're really into escape rooms, but you're not into board games. What gives, right? Because usually those things go hand in hand. And I think it's the same thing of, well, they both have puzzles. They both have communication with your team if you are a part of a team, but it's the immersiveness. And again, I think it's that I need to be in an actual environment that makes me feel like I'm escaping, quite literally escaping today's world, where I'm no longer in my office, or this is not just four walls in a random abandoned building somewhere. This is truly a cabin in the woods, or this is truly a haunted house that we have to go and solve the ghost, which I think is why many people also love escape rooms when it comes to haunted, scary rooms, because it really does take you out of that element of feeling like, yeah, I'm going to get chased by a ghost. And I've had a few rooms where we've had actors that actually were foes and chase you or come after you. And that really takes you out, where you're like, I know this is an actor, but I feel like this thing is going to kill me. Like, just the rationality in your brain's like, nope, I'm going to die. It's going to happen.
Okay, we definitely have different definitions of escape.
Tell me more.
I am not. I'm a scaredy cat. So I'm not one for escape rooms where there is the element of a person coming after you. I'd rather it be my wits versus the room.
I agree. I was just forced into some rooms where nobody told me there was an actor until it was too late. And I already signed the paperwork. I'm like, oh, I'm stuck. I'm actually stuck. I can't leave, or I'm going to have friends that are going to make fun of me. And I don't know what that says about my pride, Guy, but it's just like, I'm not, all right, I'm in. Cool. Let's do it.
What made that escape room different from the one you've done before that really got you heavily invested in escape rooms afterwards?
Oh my gosh. I think it was the great storytelling. I'm helping a friend right now create an escape room, and that was a big question. We asked each other in our group of friends, like, what makes you remember an escape room or want to recommend it to people? And we've kind of narrowed it down to 3 things. And one being the immersiveness, like I've talked about. How invested do you get into the characters, into the environment, and into the puzzles? Another one is the storytelling. Like, how well is this story being told that makes you feel like you're part of the story itself? Like you are actually a character being in the story, or being, a part of it, right? And I think the third one for us was the level of difficulty with the puzzles. I think there's a great feeling when you get a puzzle that is beautifully made, that you go, man, even if I didn't beat this one, I loved the thinking behind it and the cleverness and the originality. Nobody wants to get a puzzle, though, that wasn't very well thought through or not very user-friendly, and it makes you maybe feel a little dumb, where you're like, that wasn't that clear. So I think those are the 3 things that we would love to make the games that we're creating great, is how immersed do the people feel? How much of the story do they feel like they're playing? And how well are they enjoying the puzzles, whether they're hard or not?
After that first experience, or first renewed experience, I know you have traveled the world and done dozens of different escape rooms.
I think I'm at 220 escape rooms now.
It's impressive. Is this something that sounds like you are traveling especially to experience escape rooms?
Yes, our first trip was to LA, and I think there was 6 of us or so to help. It was me, somebody I was dating at the time, randomly 3 people I met on the internet, one in which I hadn't met in person yet, 2 of which I've met maybe twice. I don't know if I recommend that to people, stranger danger, but that's okay. We did 13 escape rooms in one weekend. That was big. It was a great trip. The next trip, though, was right afterwards, where I had to go to Phoenix for work. I did another 3 escape rooms. So in total, 15 escape rooms in about 5 days. Quite a bit. We actually have a trip coming up for New Orleans. We finally got that on the calendar. We are going to go for October of this coming year to celebrate Halloween and doing some of the scarier rooms in New Orleans. Wish me luck. I don't think there's any live actors, hopefully. But yeah, it's a big part of our lives where I created an escape room group in Denver. We have 280 members now. Out of the 280, there was about 12 of us that all became super close. And thanks to that group that I started about 2 years ago, we've decided to take an escape room trip once a year, where we do go and maybe spend a day or two doing escape rooms, but we have some time in between to make sure that we give our brains a nice rest. Probably only do about 8 rooms. Still sounds like a lot, but it's nowhere near 13. But really excited. We have a trip lined up for 2026 or 2027 once Disneyland and Disney World do all of their revamps. Same thing with Universal Studios and Universal Studios Florida. Once they get all of their renovations done, we're going to be doing a Universal Studios, Disneyland meets escape rooms trip, and I'm extremely excited. It's going to be immersive, magical, and memorable.
So you're an expert.
I mean, I would say so.
So at this point, you're going into a new escape room. The door closes behind you. The clock starts ticking. What do you do?
Panic. No, it depends. So let's say you and I are doing a room with a few other people. So you and I have not done a room before. So I don't know what kind of role you play just yet. And so what I would usually do is I would try to feel out whose roles are what in a group. Is this person somebody that feels comfortable with more complex puzzles? Are they good about noticing pattern recognition? Are they great about just pointing out what they see in a room? So I might take like you or some people aside and just be like, okay, what are you noticing in the room? Or what do you think about that puzzle over there? Some of my friends would say that I take over the leader role, where I just kind of feel out people, see how we can all mesh together. And depending on how much time has elapsed, I'll start throwing in some tips and tricks that work for our groups, where I say, okay, Guy and Shelby, we've been, working on this puzzle for about 5 minutes. We're not getting anywhere. Let's switch this out with somebody else so we can get a fresh pair of eyes, and you and I go work on something else. If I feel like you are kicking ass and taking names with the puzzle, like, all right, guys, got this. I'm going to walk away, go see what another group is doing. Let people know how much time has elapsed and saying, how are we feeling? Are we feeling frustrated? Do we feel like we need a clue? So really just being that point person to check in with everybody. Now, if it's with a group that I've done rooms with before, we all have our assigned, roles, if you will, or what we're used to or what we know. And I kind of play into that with each person, where I've got one friend where it takes her maybe about 10-ish minutes to get comfortable in a room and feel things out. So I'll have her come along and be like, all right, you've got the boogie board to write things down. Come with me. Let's go write what we see. I've got one friend that's incredible with math, where I just say, I see some math coming on over here. I need you to come work on this because my math is not great. But yeah, that's really what my role is I just try to point every person or figure out what their strengths are, what they're comfortable with, and see where in the room we can start pushing that, and really just making sure that I kind of skirt everybody along to be like, all right, we've been here for 15 minutes and we haven't solved the puzzle yet. Let's think out loud. What are we thinking? How are we feeling? Are we all in for a clue? Are we okay? Like, do we need, a break here? Or are we feeling like we need just a little bit more time to think on a puzzle? So that's more of my role, is just kind of being the leader, but also just really trying to figure out where everybody fits in and how we can make sure that everybody's having a good experience. I can't tell you how many rooms we've done where maybe one person takes over the room, not realizing it because they have like main character syndrome, or they're just really excited. And I don't blame them, right? But we need sometimes those people to take a step back and go, look, we all paid for this room equally. We all need to have the same cohesive experience. So, just take a step back with me. Let's cool our engines a little bit and make sure that this person has an opportunity to participate. So yeah, that's kind of my role.
So being an escape room sherpa, so to speak.
Oh, I like that. I want that on a shirt now.
You're welcome to use it. How do you handle people who are, I'm sure it happens, they're clearly either don't want to be there or have no idea what to do?
We call it the deer in headlights look. So I usually look around and if I see somebody looking super bewildered, I'll pull them aside and be like, hey, let's go work on a puzzle together and really try to engage them to get them out of that mindset. Because it's a lot of times fear or social anxiety. I think there's a particular sort of character that comes into escape rooms. Sometimes you get, I would say, sometimes the extrovert like me who's like, let's go, that really high energy. But many times you get people that are a little bit more introverted and like, oh, I'm just coming here to meet with a small group of people and try to maybe figure out if I want to be friends, and a little bit, mousy about it, which is totally fine. But usually I try to get them to come out of their shell a little bit, or say like, let's talk about this out loud. If they're not really sure, I'll try to be like, okay, let's just think about this puzzle. Like, have you seen something like this before? Have you done escape rooms? If we were maybe doing this room just us two, like, don't worry about anybody else. How would you go about this? And if we're feeling like someone's really not enjoying it, I'll be like, that's okay. If you want, I can go through this puzzle maybe with somebody else or myself. Do you want to watch, or do you want me to kind of walk you through what I'm thinking? I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. Like, just kind of show me instead. So really treat them like a human, honestly, and just treat them almost like a puzzle, like themselves, where you're like, okay, I can't push too hard. I don't want to be too light. Let's just take a temperature here, see how you're vibing with me and all of this. And also just let them know too, like, it's cool if this is the one escape room you want to do and you realize it's not for you. We're always here just to hang out and have drinks before or after a room. So even if you want to hang out with us, that's okay too. So we really open it up to just more than, hey, we're going to do an escape room and leave. We're also here to create a community. And if you're really just looking for a community and maybe not necessarily doing an escape room, that's okay too.
How competitive do you get when it comes to escape rooms in terms of time of completion?
Ooh, depends if we're only doing one escape room that day or multiple. If we're just doing one escape room, I'm pretty chill. It's like, yeah, we'll get out if we need to. I will start getting a little competitive if we have, let's say, 10 minutes left and we have not figured it out. If it's like 4 or 5 rooms in a day, I get pretty competitive, because the less time it takes for us to finish a room, the more time we have just to chill out or, at least get back home. As you can tell, I have 2 dogs. I am a dog mom, and they always come first. And I'm always that person going, all right, my dogs have been by themselves for about 6 or 7 hours. I feel bad. Let me head home. So I get home sooner to my dogs for selfish reasons. But it does depend. I mean, I think at the end of that 5-day excursion of doing the 15 rooms, we did a room where we beat it with 1 second left. And I have never been so stressed out in my life. And I've never felt closer to Tom Cruise in a Mission Impossible movie as I did then. So yeah, that was super stressful. And I remember telling people, I don't think we're going to make it, kind of pushing people, like, come on. I don't care if we have to ask for more clues. It's more important for us to escape than the number of clues that we've asked for.
So I'd love to hear about some of the more memorable rooms you've done.
That was a memorable one where we only had 1 second left, mainly because the game masters came out and told us they were taking bets on if we were going to escape or not. Shout out to the game master that believed in us. I appreciate you. And that was amazing because it was my first time meeting all of the Turo designers in person since I work remotely. Never met them. And I somehow convinced 10 or 12 of us to go into an escape room together and hope that it worked out. Thankfully, everybody had such a fun time. We actually did escape. that was extremely memorable because I set sort of this bar of, this is what a great escape room is supposed to be. This is the great story that is supposed to be told. I hope you have an experience like that elsewhere. Just have people understand that escape rooms are more than just a room that you throw yourself in for 60 minutes. Like, it's an actual craft and design behind it that's beautifully told through, set design, immersiveness, all of that. Another room that was extremely memorable, because I am also a scaredy pants when it comes to escape rooms, is this one called the Weeping Witch in Anaheim, California. This is a room that was created, I believe, by people who are experts in the acting. Oh gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Like scene decorating for movies and TV shows. So they know what they're doing. And this room is just about you and your family lifting a curse and a weeping witch that is trying to stop you. The only way that you know she's coming is that the lights start flickering and she starts openly weeping. Now, you better hope once those lights turn on, though, that she's nowhere near you. But in fact, she will be. So much so that she will have moments where she's not allowed to necessarily chase you or touch you, per se. But that doesn't mean she can't get 2 inches from your face and start weeping in your face. Or in the case for my friend, she had a fingernail lightly touch her on her nose in the middle of the dark. I've never heard my friend scream so loudly in the dark. That made me almost want to wet my pants. So that was a very memorable room for the scary aspect of it. But the top room, I would say, that I've done out of 220 of them is a small room in Brighton, Colorado called Dragon's Realm. It's owned by a mom and pop shop. I adore them because they are escape room nerds like us who took it to another level. They are just a mom and dad with a carpenter and, just more like set design for fun. But they created this beautiful escape room that's very Dungeons and Dragons-esque with some Lord of the Rings vibes in there. It is beautifully designed. They have found a way to use a little bit of puppeteering and what's the word I'm looking for? Holograms in the room. They made it extremely immersive. And as a huge Lord of the Rings nerd, one of my favorite all-time rooms. And I felt great about the room guy because we had done a room of theirs prior, put a lot of positive reviews for them in a escape room app called Morty. Think of Yelp for escape rooms. The company, or that mom and pop shop in Brighton, ended up winning an award thanks to all of the reviews that we gave them and bringing in way more business for them so that their Christmas gift came a little early last year. So that's probably my top rated room, just because of the escape room community we created in Denver helped this company succeed in their dreams, but also because they just made such a beautiful room out of their own pockets, wasn't commercially owned. And they were great enough to hang out with us an hour after we completed the room to let us ask all the escape room questions that we had. So I would say that was probably like the top one.
So you brought up the concept of a community of escape rooms. Tell me more about this community, whether it's in Colorado or around the world.
We are an interesting bunch where a lot of us go into escape rooms for different reasons, right? Like I come in for the immersiveness. There's definitely some folks that just come in for the puzzles and try to kind of take out as many escape rooms as they can, whether it's like a good room or a bad room. They just want to kind of add those numbers, which totally respect that. I think if you're going to pay upwards of $40 to $50 for a room, let's make sure it's a good quality. It's not like you're seeing a bad movie and you only paid $15. Like it's kind of expensive, but we're full of passionate, loving, and incredibly generous group of people too. We all want to meet each other. We all want to experience escape rooms together. We want to have those memories to celebrate and remember by. And I think we also have varying degrees of what makes a good escape room, right? Like a few of us in our group think the immersiveness is great. I have one friend that's more about the puzzles. So he's like, you could just put me in a room and it be blank walls, but if there's a great puzzle in the middle of it, I'm going to think it's a great escape room. It's different from me, but that's all good, right? Some people think escape room is one that should scare the living shit out of you, and that's a great escape room. That's not my cup of tea, per se. Another great example, there's an escape room where they can actually put a shock collar, like for dogs, on you. And if you get an answer wrong, they can shock you. I don't think that's fun. For some people, they love that. Go you, whatever, like, I guess gets you going. But I would say we're just a creative bunch that is really just trying to understand how do we capture that moment that makes people go, I love that room, or I loved those people. I love the production value. Kind of reminds me of a movie, right? Like what makes a movie great? It's the immersiveness, how immersed or how invested do you get in the plot? How much do you feel like you're part of the movie and discovering things together with the characters and invested with them? How great are the puzzles that make you want to come back or go, how did they do that? How did they make that happen? Or even sometimes with the immersiveness, I've been in some rooms where I go, how did they make that float? That's weird juju magic, but I need to know how logically that works. But to answer your question, because I'm realizing I'm rambling a bit, we're just a creative weirdos that are just really trying to make a memorable experience for everybody around the world. And I've never realized it was going to connect so many of us together. Who knew that escape rooms would connect us and help me meet some of my best friends in the Denver area, make really great friends anytime I've moved somewhere different or visited either. Like who goes all the way to LA to spend that kind of money on 8 escape rooms, right? But we did because it was memorable and we loved them.
Are there any escape rooms that they're on the top of your list to do?
Ooh. There is a Terpica, which is kind of like the Academy Awards or, like highly leveled award systems for escape rooms in that community. And there is a room in Houston, Texas, that is called A Man from Beyond. It is a mixture of a room that is escape rooms with actors that go into monologues and setting the scenes, almost as if it's a play. So think of an interactive play meets escape room. I'm really interested because a friend of mine who's creating his own escape room texted me immediately and said, you got to do this room. I don't care if you don't think there's anything else to do in Houston or in Texas. You got to go. It's worth it. It was so good. He didn't want to give anything away because he felt like, you just have to figure it out on your own. Thankfully, no foes is what we call, like friends or foes. So actors in the room, are they friends or are they foes? Thankfully, no foes. They're all just friends. So I said, that's another positive. Another room that I would be extremely excited to do is there is a new room that just opened in Phoenix at the Immersive Games. And I believe it's like a superhero themed one that I would love to do. Actually, it's at the Nemesis. Yeah, the Nemesis Club. Actually, they just opened up over there. The room that I'm thinking of. Their rooms are giant, speakeasy vibes. Another great thing is to find this escape room. You actually have to go through an ice cream shop and tell them that you're looking for the cobbler. And you will walk through a refrigerator door to get to the other side. So again, that immersiveness right as soon as you walk in, right? Like who walks into an ice cream shop saying, hey, I'm going to do an escape room. And I think the final room, because, I can never just pick one room. We're going to go do escape rooms in Australia for the first time. And these rooms look fantastic. One of them, I think, is a seance room that we'll be doing. And one is going to be World War II themed. So it'll just be fantastic to do a room pretty much all the way across the world.
Amazing. Shelby, where can people find you?
So you can find me at shelbycorbella.com for any of your design system nerd needs. And then you can actually find me at gtfoescapes.com for anything escape room blog related and for our podcast as well. If you are a podcast listener, just look for GTFO Escapes on anywhere where you listen to your podcast and we'll be there. Will advise we do curse a little bit, so we are not. If you're looking for something kid-friendly, I suggest you look elsewhere, especially with the title like GTFO.
Or make sure your kids are okay with that.
There you go. I like that way, Guy. I love it.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Guy.
This is all for this episode of Design Downtime. Thank you for joining me. And until next time, I hope you enjoy your downtime.